All right, welcome back, guys. Special thanks to Bleacher Report as always for having me. And well, unfortunately, we have another Rams loss, 20-3. They lose their third straight game of the season. They lost to the Steelers, the Cowboys, and now the Packers on the road, 20-3. They have not beaten the Packers in Lambeau since 2006. And while they had many opportunities, including two, takeaways by the defense, they just could not get over the hump that is Brett Rippon at quarterback. Before I dive into it, just want to let you guys know that I have a YouTube channel. So after this, if you want to check that out, Jake Ellenbogen, you can follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. So let's dive into this thing. Right now, it's not great right now in Rams land, right? There are a lot of fans right now that believe this team is tanking. I got to first off push back on any narrative that would say that this team is tanking. That was about as hard fought of a football game that I've seen from a defensive squad that when an offense that couldn't move the ball much at all. They played their heart out and it just wasn't enough. I mean, they got 2 turnovers. They got some sacks. They had a lot of pass breakups and huge stops, whether it's on 4th down or a third and short. Just a really tough game at the office, a tough day at the office, and just not great. So obviously we're going to get into our winners and losers, and I'm going to start off with a loser here, which is the Rams organization. I'm going to start off with them. The fact that they did not address the quarterback spot when Stetson Bennett was put on the non-football injury and illness list. And I said this from week 1. If you guys have been following me, I said over and over again, the Rams need to address the quarterback position. And they did not do that. They were okay with their 3rd string quarterback being their backup. They were okay with Brett Rippon, who didn't make the 53-man roster to start over a rookie being the backup. They were okay with Brett Rippon, who played last year. They picked him off. Pick 6, Kobe Durant. They were okay with him being the backup. They didn't bring back John Wolford. I think John Wolford wins today's game. They didn't bring back Bryce Perkins. I think there's a shot Bryce Perkins would have won today's game. They didn't bring in a Carson Wentz. They didn't bring in Colt McCoy. They did not, trade for a Josh Dobbs. They didn't do anything. They were just totally fine with Rippon. They tried to get Wolford, and Wolford decided to stay with the Bucs. Can't blame him there. But just this is a first and foremost loser has to be the Rams organization for not going out and getting a quarterback. I don't know how you were okay. And I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about from the get-go. How do you not go out, bring in a Carson Wentz, have him learn the offense, and that way a guy who had a spinal cord contusion last year in Matthew Stafford, a guy who's had in a laundry list of injuries to the point where it looks like the Bill of Rights. If you look at his injury list, it's insane. And you're telling me that their best chance, what they felt, was that they were going to go out and they were going to sign Dresser Wynn, UDFA. They were going to sign Rippon, and they were going to draft Stetson Bennett in the 4th round. Well, guess what? Tyson Bagent was available in UDFA, and they did not sign him. He would have been a perfect fit, and he actually played well. I didn't see the results of the game, but he played well in the Saints-Bears game. But look, this is what happens. And so a loser today is 100% Brett Rippon, who could not get the Rams to cap off any of their drives in the end zone, had 2 turnovers, 2 takeaways by the defense, and could not capitalize on them, and only was able to get 3 points on the board. Not acceptable. 13 of 28 for 130 yards. He had 2 really good throws. That's it. That's all he had. He was sacked once. He used his mobility. He was able to escape and run for 19 yards on 3 carries. But end of the day, Brett Rippon was not good in this game. He made three good throws. I'd say 2 great throws. And aside from that, just not good today. Very limited. Loser Rams organization for thinking that was their best option. I don't think it was. I think they honestly just didn't take the quarterback room as seriously as they should have. Here's the thing. Brett Rippon is the backup because he's not Bryce Perkins and John Wolford. They just wanted to get a new guy. I mean, he's in that tier group. I mean, maybe not as good as those two, but he's in the tier group. They just wanted to get a different guy. Today, the Packers, by the way, without the threat of the pass, the Packers were just stacking the box. So I'm not even going to say that Royce Freeman, who ran 2.7 yards per carry, and Darrell Henderson, who ran 1.9 yards per carry, had a bad game. Because at the end of the day, when you don't have a quarterback who's a threat at all, defenses are just going to throw 9 guys in the box because they know you're running the ball every time. And that's unfortunately what happened. And it led to, 10 carries for 19 yards for Darrell Henderson, 12 carries for 32 yards with Royce Freeman. So sticking with it, loser Rams organization, not the whole Rams organization, but like the front office and, the talent acquisition, all that. Loser Brett Rippon. I'm going to say loser running game. I mean, they had 22 carries and they got 52 yards, 51 yards. I mean, not a great day at the office, not entirely their fault, but still. Loser receiving room. Once again, the receivers were held in check. Puka Nacua didn't do a ton today. He had a great catch, but he had an OPI, which you can't have. Darrell Henderson was once again in the top 3 leading receivers, 2 catches for 16. They didn't do that for whatever reason. They didn't continue going back to that. Demarcus Robinson got a catch, but altogether, receiver room just simply didn't do a great job today. They're losers. I'm going to, avoid the Haversick as a loser argument here. I know he missed the field goal. He drilled a 52-yarder. It was their only points of the game. So I'm not going to get on him too much. I thought Trammell played well. Looking at the defense, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody that was a loser on the defense. I would say Laurel Murchison not getting that sack, but that would be nitpicking because he made a couple huge plays after that. So I can't pin that on him. I don't know if I would say there's a loser on the defensive side of the ball. Got to be honest with you. Loser on the offensive side of the ball. The 2 tackles. I thought Noteboom struggled. A fourth in short, and there's just a whiffed block by Alaric Jackson. Noteboom. I thought they struggled in the run game. I thought they struggled in pass protection. This is not acceptable football. End of the day, defense is too good in this game. They gave them every freaking opportunity to win this game. And the offense was just very pedestrian today, very pedestrian. Look, those are the losers. I'm going to say a couple winners. I don't want to give too many winners. When you lose a game 20-3, it's hard to give winners out. I'm going to say the defense deserves a win. At the end, yes, they broke through. The levee broke, but when you hold them to, as much as what they were doing throughout the game against Green Bay, I thought the defense was outstanding, considering the fact the offense had no semblance of, I guess, life. I mean, they had a couple big plays. That was about it. Just a really bad day at the office. I actually had them winning the game. I kept going back and forth. I had the Rams winning 17-13. I thought that Sean McVay would do a better job of managing the game. Now, here's the thing. I'll say this. I don't know if I blame Sean McVay as much as I want to blame Sean McVay for a 20-3 loss, because what are you supposed to do if your run game is compromised? See, if Stafford played, now the Packers can't stack 9 guys in the box. They have to be aware of Stafford's arm. When Rippon played, it's like no one bought that he was ever going to throw the ball. That's why they threw 9 guys in the box. They're like, they're going to run the ball. And then it put him in a position where now you have to throw the ball, right? So, look, just a really tough day, all in all. Thought the call, the call on third down or fourth down or what have you, on, Skoranek, not to go up the middle, not to go for the, the punch on, no, it's third and short. And they decided to do an end around to Skoranek. That was just, I don't know how you don't run it up the middle, but yeah, just brutal. No Stafford. I hope people who criticize Stafford constantly without fail understand how important Stafford is to the offense. Because even today, I'll say this right now, Ernest Jones was he was missed today. There were definitely points in the game where Ernest Jones was missed. But if you're able to hold an Aaron Jones to 20 carries at 73 yards, that's not a bad day at the office. Okay. That's pretty good for the defense. Um, but I thought they did a nice job on the defensive side. Ernest Jones was a significant loss. They were able to overcome that. However, the most important position on your roster, Brett Rippon starting, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just really didn't like this coming in. And I changed my opinion getting closer to game time because I felt like, okay, Rippon's had a full week of preparation. Sean McVay, he hasn't had a really good, well-coached game in a while. Let's see him come out. He's going to have a game plan. And I just don't really know. It's tough. It's hard to say that Sean didn't have a game plan, but I thought the Packers did a nice job of, look, like, we don't even believe in Brett Rippon. Okay. We're just going to stack the box. We're not going to trust it for a second. Part of the problem is when you don't have Stafford in there, that's what you see. Now, I'll say this. I'm glad Stafford didn't play. And I understand some people might say this is the season. There's still plenty of games to go. They have 8 more games. They have some easier games coming up. This was probably one of the easiest games. I think the Packers are a pretty bad team, to be honest with you. It doesn't get much easier than this, but when you don't have your starting quarterback, this is what happens. I just think when you come out of the bye here, now you have 2 weeks of Stafford. You go against Seattle. That's a huge game. You win that game, you're still alive, 4-6. You got the Cardinals, you got the Browns. These are winnable games coming up. Okay. Washington's winnable. The Saints are winnable. The 49ers are winnable. I mean, they haven't beaten the Niners in 8-9 regular season tries, but last time we saw them, they played them tough. The Giants are a winnable game. And the Ravens are probably the one game that I think this is going to be an absolute just disaster. I don't think the Ravens game is going to go well. But I think it's important to realize that they're not out of this. Okay. I understand you want to pump the brakes. You want to, pound not pump the brakes. You want to slam the emergency button, all of that. I get it. This team still has a shot. As weird as it sounds, they do. 3-6, not ideal. We've seen it before, though. Teams have started 3-6 and have moved on. And I don't think it's fair to just count this team completely out of it and hold that, against them, because at the end of the day, look, again, not pretty at all. But I mean, they didn't have Stafford. If they lost this game, with Stafford like this, I'd understand. Okay. I would very much understand, but they did not have Stafford. So let's just be fair here. They didn't have Stafford. It's one of those games where, it's hard to win a game like that. Right. So look, end of the day, you want to win a game. You want to win this game. No doubt about it. It's just, it's not great right now. It's not great. Rams need a bye as much as any team in the league, if not more than any team in the league. They need to get healthy. I think there's some encouragement though from the defense. And keep in mind, this was not a team coming into the season that was supposed to win a Super Bowl. This is a team that they thought, okay, let's see if we can compete. Let's see if we can make a run in the playoffs. But this was not a team that we were like, yes, this team is going to win the Super Bowl. And I've been open about that. I said this team would go 10-7 and make the playoffs, but I didn't see a Super Bowl in this team's future this year. I think what right now is important is you finish the season strong. You find out, kind of similar to last year, you find out who can be a part of your roster full-time, long-term, all of that. You find out the guys that can't. And you're finding out right now. The Rams, let's be honest here, they have a deficiency at tackle. They need a left tackle. Not having Havenstein today was also a huge miss that doesn't ever get talked about, but you need him at right tackle. So they need a true left tackle long-term. You look at that in the draft. They don't really have a ton of guys available in free agency upcoming. So I like the draft to attack that. Then, at quarterback, you need a backup quarterback next year. You can't just rely on Stetson Bennett. You don't know what's going to happen. So you need a backup quarterback next year. The running backs seem fine, but I will say there could be an argument. We saw, Sean McVay with an elite running back and Todd Gurley. There could be an argument as to why they went out and tried to get Christian McCaffrey last season. Maybe they want that, explosiveness. The receivers are fine. You have Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Tutu Atwell. Would like to see more usage. I'm a little concerned about Tyler Higbee. Continues to drop passes. you feel good about left guard. Hopefully you bring back Kevin Dotson. You know, the offensive line seems fine. Just you need to go out and get another left tackle, in my opinion. Defense. I mean, there are times, yes, defense gives up a long third and, a big third and long. You want to see more pressure. To me, I think it's a no-brainer. You go out, you get another corner next year. You go out and you get a big-time pass rusher out of, the free agency pool. And there's going to be a lot of them next year. Josh Uche is the one that kind of rings the bell for me. Jalen Johnson would be fascinating alongside maybe bringing back Akello Witherspoon. Then the safeties gets a little muddy there. But the point is, guys, look, this is not the worst team in the league. It's not the best team in the league. It's somewhere in between all of that. And we still don't know where that leads. There's 8 games. We're going to find out. But this was not a great day. They had every opportunity to win, and they didn't get it done. And, regardless if Stafford didn't play or, he did play, they lost the game. And it sucks, but this is a reflection on them. If Brett Rippon wasn't going to get it done, they should have known he wasn't going to get it done. So, yeah. Puzzling that he even started this game, considering he didn't look that ready for it. But it is what it is. We move on. Huge bye week coming up. Get healthy. Get back out there. Seattle week 11 at SoFi. That's the season. If you want to put this is the season, this is the must win, this is it. That game against Seattle is 100% the season. If they lose that's 4 straight. You lose coming off the bye, and now you're 3-7, and yes, the season's over. But if they win 4-6, I don't love it, but it's not the end of the world. And especially this weaker NFC that we see here. So that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Winners and losers. There's not many winners. I'll give Aaron Donald a winner. I thought he played well. And I just, the defense as a whole, I think deserves a win because they tried to hold him in this game, despite the fact they only scored 3 points on the offensive side. But losers are all around. I mean, this was not a good day from the offense, and it really hurt them. So we'll see what happens. But the Rams fall to 3-6 from Lambeau Field, and they head into a much needed bye week. And hope to see you guys soon. You can follow me on socials at JK Bogan. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, folks.